Disneyland.
Walt Disney always believed that dreams really do come true.
It's going to cost a little more to enjoy Disneyland, and
It is almost unaffordable for families to go,
Call it
right?
the priciest place on earth?
A place where magic comes to life, where childhood memories are made, and supposedly the happiest place on earth. From Tomorrowland, Frontierland, and Pirates to Star Wars, people from all over the world come to experience the magic. But in recent years, something about Disneyland has changed. While the magic at the happiest place on earth might still be there, it comes at a steep price. Disneyland's prices have grown an average of 6% each year since operating in 1955 and has outpaced general inflation. And yet, people continue to flock into a crowded park all while going into debt. Why has Disneyland become so expensive? How did this place, once seen as the pinnacle of affordable family fun, turn into a luxury experience? Why is something that promises happiness and joy becoming so out of reach and unaffordable for so many? First, let's go back in time. When Disneyland first opened its doors in July 17th of 1955, Walt Disney had a vision of a place where parents and children could enjoy themselves, and tickets were just $1 to get in, and rides range from 10 to 23 cents each. Even adjusting for inflation, those prices allowed Disneyland to be a relatively affordable destination that everyone was welcome to enjoy, no matter how much money was in their bank account. But over the years, Disneyland grew. More rides, more lands, and more attractions. More was added to make it more magical. From Main Street, Pirates of the Caribbean, to Matterhorn and Star Tours. And for decades, Disneyland remained a place that most middle-class American families could enjoy without breaking the bank. And it was truly the happiest place on earth. But slowly, as more magic and happiness was added, so too were prices. Over the past 10 years, the average cost for a Disney World single park ticket has inflated by more than 56% and has outpaced inflation, which was 32%. From $16.50 in 1985, $31 in 1995, $99 in 2015. But today, Disneyland is at a very different place, not just in terms of rides, but its price tag. And today, it's between $104 and $194 depending on the day. And that doesn't include food, hotels, airfare, and merchandise. And add on $40 for self-parking and $10 each additional hour. And not to mention an extra $25 if you want to wait in line in the fast lane. And now you're looking at several $100s just for one day and one person. It was found that the price for two people would cost $886, and in 2017, the same experience would cost $567. And rising costs have left many wondering, is Disneyland still a place for everyone, or has happiness become a luxury reserved for only a few? Disneyland has quadrupled the top price of tickets since 2000 and increased the cost of premium annual passes by more than 700%. The cost of tickets has increased by 351% from $43 in 2000 to $194 in 2023, more than quadrupling the cost of admission. So what's behind these price hikes? Well, there are a few factors. First is the cost of running and maintaining the park itself. Disneyland has expanded significantly since the 1950s. Newer attractions like Star Wars Galaxy Edge and Avengers Campus comes with massive investments in technology and infrastructure. And these updates bring extra magic to the experience, but it comes at a cost for both Disney and its visitors. And of course, there's the impact of the pandemic. The park closed for more than a year, which resulted in lost revenue for Disney. But when gates reopened, ticket prices jumped to make up for lost time, but also because of increased operating costs and higher wages. And beyond operations, there is something else driving an increase in prices, and that's demand. Since 2018, Disneyland has operated on a dynamic pricing model, which means that prices are higher during peak times, like holidays and summer breaks. And even with these higher prices, the park is still crowded. People are willing to pay for that magical experience. Of course, no trip to Disney is made alone. In the spirit of the American dream of two kids, your family of four on a Disney vacation on average will cost you around $5,000. Comparatively right now, the median annual income in the United States is $78,119. That means a family of four would need to pay an entire month's income to cover the cost of a multi-day trip to Disney. So why do Americans continue to flock to Disneyland despite rising costs? Well, for a lot of people, Disneyland holds a special place in their hearts. It's a place tied to childhood memories and family traditions for both parents and children. And speaking of magic, if you're finding this video useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It'll help the channel tremendously. Thank you very much for watching. For a lot of people, it's an essential experience, no matter what the financial sacrifice is. And the power of Disney and its connection to loyal enthusiasts is so strong that people are willing to go into debt to experience the magic no matter the cost. A recent survey found that 24% of all Disney goers accrued debt during their trips, and 45% of parents take on debt for Disney vacations. And that average amount of debt was $1,983. And 75% of respondents said that their Disney trip would take 6 months to pay off, and perhaps even worse. 90% said that they were satisfied with their trips because they saw it as a treat instead of an obligation. And it's not just the price of tickets. Once you're on Main Street, the cost just keeps going up. From $7 churros to $150 lightsabers, Disneyland has evolved to a place where every part of the experience is an attempt to sell you something. And if you want the full Disney experience, staying at the park's official hotels can easily add $500 to $1,000 a night to your trip. And despite all of this, people continue to pay and go to a crowded park. And you can only imagine that it's just going to be even more expensive in the future. So do consider, what else can you do with $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 and all the other things that you can do, like invest or save. So how can you balance the magic from the happiest place on earth while maintaining a healthy amount of money in your wallet? First, concessions were the biggest driver of excessive spending, with the 65% of respondents citing the high cost of food and beverages. So if you really must go to a park, one of the best ways to cut costs is to bring your own food to the park. Of course, there are limits to what you can bring, but you can make a difference in the overall cost of your experience by combating the price of food. And of course, there's the 50-30-20 rule, which involves splitting your after-tax income into 3 categories of spending. 50% goes to your needs, so think about housing, food, transportation, and utilities. 30% goes to wants, your monthly subscriptions, eating out, and going on that trip to Disney. And 20% goes to saving and debt, the amount you store away to prepare for the future and paying down debt. And one of the largest allures for people is the concept of happiness and escaping reality. So do consider what the high prices you're paying for are, and for a day or two's relief from your own life. Financially, both short and long term, it's not really worth it, especially if it's setting you back a month's worth of savings, or more. Likely, your money is of better use in a brokerage or high yield savings account that will bring you financial freedom and more long-term happiness without the worry of money. And the sad reality is that the happiest place on earth may not be for everyone anymore. And frankly, for many people, it's not a sound financial decision to spend over a month's worth of income for a few days of expensive animatronics and magic. Disneyland, Disney World, it's a place where dreams come true, but in today's world, that magic comes at the literal price of the money in your wallet. And for many, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and if you really must go through the entire experience, it's something that you should absolutely plan and budget for. And while Disneyland may no longer be the affordable escape it once was, the joy it does bring families remains priceless, but only if you're willing to pay for it. The magic is still there, but so is the price. And as much as the magic of happiness comes at a price, so has fast food and the concept of value. So click on the next video to see why the dollar menu is no more and Big Macs are easily $15.